Hey there, welcome to your Tables 5 video. This video is just for you to check your work. I showed you how to do these problems step by step in Tables 4. So if you're really unsure with how to do it, go back to Tables 4, watch those examples, and use this to check your work and get some things explained briefly. So number 1, from 3 to 12, 10 to 40, 5 to 20, 8 to 32, the numbers were going up. So our choices for an up arrow are addition or multiplication. Since the numbers were jumping up pretty fast, I tested out multiplication. And I did that by doing 12 divided by 3, the inverse of multiplication. I got 4. Then I skipped this one. Then 20 divided by 5, I got 4. 32 divided by 8, I got 4. So to prove that my pattern worked as a rule, I did my input 3 times 4 equals 12. 3 times door equals elf 12. Then I did 5 times 4 equals 20. Then I did skate times door equals dirty U 32. And every single time it matched my output, so I checked it off. Then I needed to figure out what goes in this input spot. So something in my rule times 4 would have to equal 40. This is missing multiplication, so I did division to check. 40 divided by 4, you get 10. And I put 10 in the input right there. Just to double check, I took my input 10, I used my rule times 4, I got 40, which matched my output, so I know I'm good. So that's number 1. Here is number 2. I saw 4 to 5, 64 to 8, and 16 to 2. I knew that meant I'm having some technical difficulties. I knew that meant it can't play, so I guess I'm gonna have to sing. It's going down, I'm yelling timber. So, it's going down. I checked with division, so I did my bigger number 40 divided by 5, I got 8. 64 divided by 8 equaled 8 again. 16 divided by 2 equaled 8 again. So I knew I had a pattern. Then I proved it by taking my input, 40 divided by 8, getting 5, it matches. 64 divided by 8 equals 8. 16 divided by 8 equals 2. It matched my output. So I knew that was my rule. I wrote it in the box. Then I needed to figure out what goes in this box here. So something divided by 8 equals 4. Missing division means I can do the inverse operation, which would be 4 times 8, or door times skate equals dirty U 32. I put a 32 there, and just to make sure I had everything absolutely right, I tested it with my rule. 32 divided by 8, I got 4, which was my output, so I'm good to go. All right, taking a look at number 3. First, I asked myself, from input to output, are the numbers going up or down? 10 to 2, 15 to 3, 40 to 8. It's going down. I'm yelling timber. So I decided to check division. So when I did 10 divided by 2, 15 divided by 3, 40 divided by 8, I got 5 every time. So I had a pattern. I proved that it worked by doing my division. 10 divided by 5 equals 2, which matches. 15 divided by 5 equals 3, which matches. Okay, I realized I made a bit of an oops on that last one. It should be 40, my input, divided by 5, my rule, gets me 8, and that matched 2. So then I knew my rule was divided by 5. I put it in the box. I needed to figure out this spot right here, my output. So 45 divided by 5, you get 9, and it checks off. All right, let's look at number 4. From input to output, are the numbers going up or down? 4 to 28, up. 10 to 70, up. 5 to 35, up. I drew my up arrow. That means my rule is going to be addition or multiplication. I needed to find a pattern first, so I decided to check with division. 28 divided by 4, 70 divided by 10, 35 divided by 5, they all got me 7. I put 7 on the multiplication side because that's the inverse of division, which is what I used to check. Now I'm going to prove it. So I did my input 4 and my rule times 7, got 28. 10 times 7 equals 70, 5 times 7 equals 35. Those all matched, so I put times 7 in my rule box. And then I needed to figure out what went on my input right here. So something times 7 equals 42. Missing multiplication, I can do the inverse of division to check. 42 divided by 7, you get 6, so I put that in my box. And just to double check, I did 6 and my rule times 7. I know chicks times surfing equals 4 42. All right, let's move on to the back. We are on the back of tables 5. So let's go ahead and check our work. From input to output, 36 to 4, 81 to 9, 54 to 6. Let's see if my music is working. It is going. It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance. Woohoo, it worked. It is going down. So that means either subtraction or division. You can use subtraction or division to find the difference. I started with division. When I did 36 divided by 4, I got 9. 81 divided by 9, I got 9. 54 divided by 6, I got 9 too. So that's how I found my pattern of divided by 9. To prove my rule worked, I took my input, checked the rule, divided by 9. 36 divided by 9, I got 4. It matched my output. 81 divided by 9 equals 9, matches my output. 54 divided by 9 equals 6, also matches my output. So I had check marks all the way. I knew that divided by 9 was my official rule. So I just needed to find the spot in this box here. So I took my input, 45, my rule divided by 9, and I got 5 right there. That's number 5. Let's check out number 6. Number 6, from input to output, are the numbers going up or down? 3 to 6, 2 to 4, 9 to 18, it's going up. So that means it's either going to be addition or multiplication. You're still going to check using subtraction or division. So for 3 and 6, I took my bigger number 6, divided by 3, I got 2. 4 divided by 2 equaled 2. 18 divided by 2 equaled 2. Since I used division, I put my 2 with my multiplication sign because it's the inverse operation. That was my pattern. Now I checked to see if it worked as a rule. So I started with 3 times 2, you get 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 9 times 2 is 18. All of those got me check marks. So all I needed to do was figure out my output right here. So I took my input 8, my rule times 2. I know 8 times 2 equals 16, and that's what goes in my output. All right, one more, number 7. So I look from input to output. I'm going up 4 to 32, 2 to 16 up, 8 to 64 up. Up arrow means addition or multiplication. So I looked for a pattern. I took my bigger number 32. I used division to check. So I did 32 divided by 4, 16 divided by 2, 64 divided by 8, and every single time I did that, I got 8. So since I divided, I put the 8 with multiplication, because that's the inverse operation, and I'm going to test out the rule times 8. So I took my first input 4 and my rule times 8. I got 32, which matched my output. 2 times 8 equals 16, another match. And then 8 times 8 equals 64, another match. So I knew my rule was officially times 8, and I needed to solve for my output here. So if I put 3 into my table, I do my rule times 8. I know tree times skate equals dentifloor 24. So I put a 24 right there. And you are donezo with tables 5. Good job.